kids. Check out Popcorn Radio on the iHeartRadio app.
iHeartRadio just gave driving an upgrade with Presets, now on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Your go-to stations, podcasts, and playlists, all just a tap away on your dash. Start your engine, hit play, and drive happy. Free with iHeartRadio on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
We are Fox Sports. Here's what you need to know on Fox Sports 940 Miami.
Mandatory minicamp continues today for the Dolphins, with the team hitting the practice field today before wrapping things up tomorrow. The Dolphins are missing two key players at minicamp. Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith will not participate over the 3-day session due to ongoing trade rumors. Meanwhile, injury-prone Tua Tagovailoa says he wants to avoid risky plays as quarterback that could cause injury. The Panthers are prowling after back-to-back wins. Florida leads the Stanley Cup Final 2-1 and will host Edmonton for Game 4 tomorrow night in Sunrise. Only one team in NHL history has ever recovered from being down 3-1 in the Stanley Cup Finals. Marlins edged out the Pirates 3-2 from Pittsburgh. Sandy Alcantara got the win. Nick Fortes belted a homer as Miami snapped a 2-game skid and will try to win the series this afternoon. The month-long FIFA Club World Cup begins on Saturday at Hard Rock Stadium, and in 1 year, The Rock will host the World Cup 2026 with Miami Gardens' first match on June 15th. I'm Karen Curtis, 940 Fox Sports, Miami.
Broadcasting live from the Fox Sports 940 Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
Number one on your car radio preset.
1-0 pitch. Stowers cracks that one out to center and deep. Siri is back. He looks up, and it's gone. The Marlins waste no time. Kyle Stowers with a 2-run shot, and they take a 2-0 lead in the first.
Miami Marlins baseball is on deck.
2-1. That kicks away from Rodriguez. Hill breaks for the plate. There will be no throw. And on a wild pitch, the Marlins walk it off again. 1-2. Conine lifts out to left field. Tommy Pham working back to the warning track. So is Sawinski. They look up, and it's gone. Griffin Conine to left center. And we're tied at 2 in the 7th.
Marlins on deck. Brought to you by ADT, the official smart security partner of the Miami Marlins and Norwegian Cruise Line. Experience more at sea. Let's head out to the ballpark. Here's your host, Steven Strong.
Well, nice job, Carlos. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're live here from PNC Park in Pittsburgh, the Steel City, on a 74-degree Wednesday afternoon. The sun is out. The vibes are high. And the Marlins will complete Game 6 of this 9-game road trip with an off day following tomorrow. You're listening to Miami Marlins baseball on the radio. It's Fox Sports 940 Miami, and it's Game 66 of 162. How sweet was last night? 6 shutout from Sandy en route to a 3-2 Marlins win to punch right back, and now in position for a road series victory here in the Steel City. And with a win tonight, the Marlins would move to 3-3 on this road trip. We're pumped to bring you Game 3 of this 3-game set series finale between the 27-41 Pittsburgh Pirates and your 25-40 Miami Marlins. It'll be Cal Quantrill who gets the ball for Clayton McCullough's Marlins this afternoon. He will go opposite Bailey Falter, the southpaw for the Pirates. He has shined as of late. He will start for the 14th time this season, and first pitch is slated for 12:35 right here on the Marlins radio network. Well, I'm still pumped up from yesterday. Great to have you aboard. Thanks for making Marlins on Deck a part of your Wednesday afternoon with Jack McMullen and Scott Kornberg. I'm Steven Strom. Got an action-packed show for you. I also fear we're going the distance, and we thank you for your participation as always. We'll first hear from Sandy Alcantara on back-to-back quality starts. Greg Brown, one of the radio and television broadcasters for the Pittsburgh Pirates, will join Jack McMullen to preview the series finale here this afternoon. We'll get you at the count with Cal and Falter. Jack and Scott will jump in for some back and forth. Got some good topics for them. X-Poll question of today at Marlins Radio. And, of course, Steve's guarantee to victory. Hallelujah. Sandy Alcantara. Back-to-back quality starts. But this one felt a little bit different. It wasn't against the Colorado Rockies. It was against a Pittsburgh Pirate team that had played pretty good baseball as of late under Don Kelly. It was 6 shutout for Sandy, and let's hear what his confidence is at and just his overall thoughts about yesterday.
First, I want to say thanks, God, for keeping me healthy on the game and let me do my job. Start getting better, day by day, week by week, so, and I feel good the way that I've been competing.
What was the game plan tonight? We saw the curveball, the number one used pitch. Why was that, and how do you feel you executed?
Same plan that we did last outing, today throwing breaking ball first try, and then surprise the hitter, we hit her, and that's what we did.
One of the things you were struggling with this year is when guys got on, you weren't able to get out, but you were able to get outs today. What was different? How'd you manage it?
Be more patient, doesn't matter who I got on base, so I know the hitter being very aggressive on me when they get on base, but yeah, just trust in my staff, and try to get out of there the most quick that I can, and use my two-seam.
Do you feel like you're starting to get your swagger back?
Yeah, for sure. You see it on my last two outings, so not my last two outings, today my last outing, so everything feels more confidence, more strike, more aggressive on the zone, and I feel more like comfortable right now.
Do you feel just like more loose, more like not serious, but like happy-go-lucky, like calm and everything? Yeah,
for sure. So I've been believing more on my two-seam. We change the combination has been amazing on my last two games. And yeah, just feel very happy and proud about myself and the way that I've been competing and getting better.
Did you feel good from the start? When did you feel like today was going to be a good night?
Since yesterday. So I mean, everything got to start the day before. So I've been first grade since the day before I came here. And today I have great success. Thanks God for that.
The third inning in particular, to get out of that jam, how were you able to do so, and then to retire the rest of the batters you faced?
Just trust on my staff. So my two-seam was amazing today. My changeup was great. Attack them with first speed, first strike, throwing my curve today. A lot of cutter, so I don't know if you guys saw it. And, yeah, if they want to steal the bag, just go ahead and steal. I got to focus on the hitter.
Curious, the broadcast brought up yesterday, do you think having Yuri back as well will kind of elevate your game? Almost like a friendly, not competition, but like, to elevate both of your games, make you guys both pitch better?
Maybe not. But I feel happy to have Yuri back on the mound. So you guys saw it yesterday, first game after like close to 2 years. And it's great. He got a bad game yesterday, but he got to keep getting better. Keep improve that he was missing, be out there. And he feel happy to be back.
Saw that play in the fifth, that fielding play. You been working on your PFP lately?
No. So. When you see the ball, you got to go ahead, so that's what I did today, and thanks God I make a great throw to the first base, and I make it out.
This was a start that we're so used to seeing from you. What would constitute it? Is it like the really low pitch count, quick outs, the sinker? What in particular about the start says this is what Sandy Alcantara we're used to?
Yeah, be more aggressive on the count, so past like 10 out, I've been struggle, we left the hitter. But just get ahead on the count, first speed, first try, then try to locate my two-seam and get out of there the most quick that I can.
All right, that was Sandy Alcantara after yesterday's 6 shutout performance. One of my favorite answers. Hey, Jack, can you ask me when I felt good about my show today, real quick?
When did you feel good about your show today?
January 24th, 1998, when I was born.
That's awesome.
I just love that answer from Sandy. You can hear it in his voice. You can see it in his strut. He's starting to get that swagger back. And we talked about it yesterday, Jack and Scott, and just yesterday felt big because it was like validation. It wasn't just the Colorado Rockies. It was, okay, I'm going to do it again here 5 days later. Actually, he was on extra days rest. But going over some of the bullet points with Sandy yesterday, 69% strike rate, 85 pitches. The curveball was the pitch that led the way at 32%. He retired his final 10 batters yesterday against the Pirates, and he is now tied with Anibal Sanchez with 44 career victories. Congratulations to Sandy Alcantara. We will break here. Coming up next, Greg Brown will preview the series finale with our very own Jack McMullen. We got plenty more on Marlins on Deck. It continues, 12:35 first pitch right here on the Marlins Radio Network.
Found out Dane's dating this girl named Mallory. Here's 2-2. Fly ball pretty deep to left, down the line, towards the corner. It's gone! Nick Fortes cracks a scoreless game open with a long home run down the left field line. And the Marlins grab a 2-0 lead here in the third.
It looked like a worse miss than it actually was.
The 1-1. Line shot center field. That's a base hit. Lopez getting the wave around third. Here's Cruz's throw all the way in. It's offline. It gets by Davis to the third base dugout, and Wagaman takes second. So it's an RBI single for Wagaman, and he bumps up into scoring position, and Miami has a 3-0 lead here in the fourth.
Dane, I saw you were the first one in your handshake line screaming, good win. What made tonight a good win?
Yeah, been skidding a little bit. Like I've been saying since the beginning of the year, we're the fighting fish. That's a really good win. Close ball games is what we're going to have to win to be good this year, and I'm glad to see us do that.
How did Sandy set the tone for your team tonight?
Yeah, he set it from pitch one, attacking their hitters. Decent lineup over there. So for him to just attack them and trust us behind them is huge.
Over the weekend, Nick Fortes obviously had a rough Saturday. We know how bad he felt about the Weathers incident. For him to hit a home run tonight, how good did that feel as a teammate and also just a human being?
Yeah, it's huge. Like you said, 40 is kind of the glue of the team. Everybody felt bad for him, but I don't think anybody felt worse than him. So to see him come up clutch, first AB like that is pretty special.
How did you see your offense be opportunistic tonight against Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I think we just took advantage whenever they made a mistake. I like the way we took our at-bats. We didn't necessarily put a lot of runs up.
Don't miss a moment of Marlins action. Download the iHeartRadio app. Make Fox Sports 940 the top preset to listen to every Marlins game. Couple of things here, some housekeeping. Steven Strom, Jack McMullen, Scott Kornberg, Fox Sports 940 Miami, Carlos back in the stew. Marlins were 0-7 against the Pirates last year. They are now 4-2, and they will play their final game against Pittsburgh. So a nice revenge get-back for Miami after last year. And most of these guys obviously are not here. But for the Marlins to possibly go 5-2 against Pittsburgh Pirates after going 0-7 last year is an outstanding sign. To get you ready for the series finale, our very own Jack McMullen got a chance to chat with Greg Brown, who is in year 32. He does television, he does TV. They had a great conversation on Sandy and Yuri over the last couple of days, plus Bailey Falter. Here they are, Jack McMullen and Greg Brown.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Here with the TV and radio voice of the Pirates, Greg Brown. How do we do this? I mean, you do what, about 120 games?
Well, yeah, it's closer to 160, Jack.
No, but 120 on TV, right?
I think it's like 75% TV and 25% radio. Okay. So it's not. It used to be 50-50, and now they like many teams, they want to try and have kind of one team do TV, separate it. Although it's hard because we have a bunch of analysts. We have, I think, 5 or 6 color analysts, so it's a whirlwind.
You know what? As do we. But one of the announcers for the Pittsburgh Pirates, Greg Brown, is with us now, and obviously getting set for Game 3 of this series. You've seen the two guys that are kind of the present and future of Marlins pitching right now, and Sandy Alcantara and Yuri Perez. I know you guys had plenty of questions about Sandy. Why is he struggling the way he was? What'd you see from Sandy last night?
Well, I think your scouting report was right on, by the way. So I didn't even tell Bob Walk I talked to him, but he was our color analyst on the radio side last night. He's looking at me like, how did you know all this stuff about the change-up, struggling with it, but now it's starting to feel more comfortable with the secondary pitches. That fastball still has so much life to it. And that's just an arm. I remember, when we faced him in the past before the surgery, to me, last night he looked more like the guy we had seen who won the Cy Young Award. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball.
It's amazing. And you guys have arguably the best pitcher in baseball, and you have a good arm in Mitch Keller, who unfortunately fell to 1-9 last night. Yet another quality start for him. Watching Skeens roll out quality start after quality start, watching Keller do that right now. Is there a sense of frustration among the pitching staff with that kind of performance?
Jack, they'll never say it, but they have to be. We're frustrated, so I'm sure the guys that are getting tagged with losses are frustrated, or no decisions when they should be winning games. Yeah, everybody gets frustrated, and there's a frustration that has built up since the Marlins series in Miami that this team should be winning more games, and it's not, and especially with this pitching. And I think there's also a sense that it's, even though you would think the chances of postseason play are so remote, they want to just try to continue to build on what Donnie Kelly has brought them, and they are winning more games with Donnie over the past month, and they feel like there's opportunities here to win more games with this great pitching, and so there's frustration, but still a belief that that they can start winning more ball games.
Yeah, I heard Joe Block call it Donnie Ball. What is Donnie Ball? Because you guys are playing 500 baseballs. It's simply inspired in a clubhouse that has a little bit more, I don't know, I guess vigor when they show up to the ballpark?
I think so. I think that it's, referencing Don Kelly, who I think that Pittsburgh is so unique, and not enough time on this show, Jack, to talk about this town, this region, and the history of the organization. But because it's a small market team, because they're not going to go out and spend tons of money, I think they needed a guy like Don Kelly who understands the history. He's part of the fabric of this region and appreciates the history and the name on the front of the jersey. And the players and people around the clubhouse understand the passion, and it's genuine passion. There's nothing phony about Don Kelly. He loves baseball, he loves the team, and he loves managing this team. And the players want to win for him. They want to do better for him because they see how genuine he is.
We're chatting with Greg Brown on the Pirates broadcast crew. Two more for you. Bailey Falter, the numbers, the ERA looks pretty solid right now. It's at 3.5. It's a weird delivery from the left side. What are we getting in Bailey Falter today?
He's a kind of a no nonsense guy, and from the time the Pirates acquired him from the Phillies for Rodolfo Castro, we wondered why the Phillies would give up this left hand. And one thing Ben Cherington has tried to do is to bring in guys like Falter, because a guy like Falter plays at PNC Park. I think the Pirates have done that over the last few years. This is a ballpark made more for left-handed pitching because of the short porch and right. And so Falter plays to that. But he also, when he has command of the fastball, and that is his primary pitch, he gets such extension on it. 99th percentile, I believe, with that extension. A 91, 92 mile an hour fastball plays like 95, 96. These late swings, it's just one of those things. I've asked former players about it. They say there's no explanation. It's one of those things where you get frustrated when you go back to the dugout not being able to hit this guy. But he's a guy that knows how to pitch, and that's a guy that should give the Pirates 6 strong innings just about every night.
Greg Brown, last one for you. You've seen plenty of Miami Marlins baseball, Florida Marlins baseball. When you close your eyes and think about the Florida Marlins or the Miami Marlins, is there a player that jumps to mind?
Jim Leland jumps to mind because he's our guy. He's a Pittsburgh guy who managed the Pirates before he went down to Florida. John Wayner, one of my partners, was on that 97 team. Bobby Bonilla. So I think of former Pirates connected to, I think of the 97 team. I think of Jack McKeon then later. And, I think of those. I think of Joe Robbie Stadium. Sure. A lot of, I think of Jeff Conine. Heck, now that you ask, Jack, I think a lot of it. Every time I hear about, I think of Conine's kid, Weathers' kid. Now we're going to see Quantrill. I think of Quantrill. So anyway, it's an interesting dynamic because though there's not a ton of history with the Marlins, Pirates and Marlins have had some interesting games over the years, starting with that opening series, and the Pirates feel like, I'm sure they need some payback. Today would be nice payback to win the series. Sorry, Marlins fans, but I think that's the way the Pirates feel about it.
I hope not. Greg Brown, really appreciate the time.
I'm going to raise the Jolly Roger. Sorry about that, Jack.
I'm not sure about that. We're flipping the M, Steven.
All right, excellent job right there, Jack McMullen, Greg Brown. And how about Greg? Rattling off some great names. We asked another guy about who he thought of the first Marlin, and he couldn't come up with one. Greg Brown just rattled off 10 to 15. Good job by him. I want to get into Bailey Falter real quick, though, because this is another guy. We talked about Mitch Keller yesterday. The Pirates are pitching their tails off right now. And you look at a guy in Falter, and I always like to look at what he's doing in 25 and what the league average is. Opponents are hitting 220. League average is 245. Home run rate, 2.2%. League average, 3.1. K rate is down at 15%. MLB average is 22%. And the walk rate is at 8.7% for Falter. League average is 8.4. So another guy that it feels like every fifth day the Pirates have a guy that's coming out here and giving them 5-6 quality innings and giving them a chance to win. Now, he is coming off a game against the Phillies where he did surrender runs in the first, the third, and the fourth, and his 3-game quality streak was snapped. But before that, he was fantastic, and he's been really good all season long. We will preview that matchup on the mound, Bailey Falter and Cal Quantrill. Again, 12:35 first pitch. Marlins on Deck continues on the Marlins Radio Network.
Found out Dane's dating this girl named Mallory. Here's 2-2. Fly ball pretty deep to left, down the line, towards the corner. It's gone! Nick Fortes cracks a scoreless game open with a long home run down the left field line. And the Marlins grab a 2-0 lead here in the third.
It looked like a worse miss than it actually was.
The 1-1. Line shot center field. That's a base hit. Lopez getting the wave around third. Here's Cruz's throw all the way in. It's offline. It gets by Davis to the third base dugout, and Wagaman takes second. So it's an RBI single for Wagaman, and he bumps up into scoring position, and Miami has a 3-0 lead here in the fourth.
Dane, I saw you were the first one in your handshake line screaming, good win. What made tonight a good win?
Yeah, been skidding a little bit. Like I've been saying since the beginning of the year, we're the fighting fish. That's a really good win. Close ball games is what we're going to have to win to be good this year, and I'm glad to see us do that.
How did Sandy set the tone for your team tonight?
Yeah, he set it from pitch one, attacking their hitters. Decent lineup over there. So for him to just attack them and trust us behind him is huge.
Over the weekend, Nick Fortes obviously had a rough Saturday. We know how bad he felt about the Weathers incident. For him to hit a home run tonight, how good did that feel as a teammate and also just a human being?
Yeah, it's huge. Like you said, 40 is kind of the glue of the team. Everybody felt bad for him, but I don't think anybody felt worse than him. So to see him come up clutch, first AB like that is pretty special.
How did you see your offense be opportunistic tonight against Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I think we just took advantage whenever they made a mistake. I like the way we took our at-bats. We didn't necessarily
cure or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Hey, this is Andrew Nardi, and you're listening to Marlins on Deck with Steven Strom on the Marlins Radio Network.
You gotta fight for your right to Nardi. Thank you, Andrew Nardi. That's what they used to do a couple of years ago, 2023, when Nardi was just nails. Nardi would come in situations, inherited runners, and somehow, some way, wiggle his way out of it. And in the clubhouse, they would always sing that for Andrew Nardi. Hopefully we see him soon. He's still on the IL. Steven Strom, Jack McMullen, and Scott Kornberg. Cal Quantrill will go opposite Bailey Falter here in the series finale for the Miami Marlins. It is going to be Game 6 of this road trip. It's been quick, honestly, because it's been on the East Coast. We played 3 in Tampa. Tampa took 2 out of 3, and now the Marlins punch back in Game 2 yesterday. Sandy Alcantara 6 shutout. Marlins win 3-2 after dropping Game 1, and here we are at 12:35 first pitch with an opportunity to win this series before we enjoy an off day in D.C. and wrap up this 3-leg road trip for the Marlins. Cal Quantrill again will take the ball for Miami. 30-year-old right-hander from Port Hope, Ontario. He's set to toe the rubber for the 13th time this season. 3-6, a 5.63 ERA, 54 and a third innings pitch in 12 starts. He did take the loss on Wednesday to his former team in the Rockies. Gave up 2 runs on 5 hits over 5 innings, 2 punch-outs. He's allowed 3 runs or fewer for 6 straight outings. This is pretty unbelievable to look at it for Cal Quantrill. On April 30th, his ERA, 8.10. Today, it sits at 5.63, and I got to give a ton of credit to not only Cal, but just how Clayton McCullough and company have managed Quantrill. When you have an ERA like that after the April 30th mark, you got to start to pitch guys differently and manage them differently. If he gets through 4 innings of scoreless ball, you take him out, you let him feel good. I don't care how old you are. We've seen Sandy Alcantara struggle, but the Marlins have done a good job with him as well. After 6, some people were like, "Oh, put him back out there." No. Let him sit. Let him have a good feeling about his start. They've done that with Cal Quantrill, who will start here again for the Marlins. This will be his 6th career outing against Pittsburgh. The last time he faced the Buccos at PNC Park, how about 7 2/3 shutout innings with 9 punch-outs? Can we get a repeat of that, Cal Quantrill? He will go opposite Bailey Falter, 28-year-old left-hander from Chino Hills, California. He's 4-3 with a 3.49 ERA, 13 starts, 69 2/3 innings pitched. We heard Greg Brown rave about Bailey Falter. He did not factor on Friday against the Phils, though. His 3-game quality streak start was snapped. It came to an end, tag for runs in the 1st, 3rd, and 4th, before exiting after 65 pitches, 40 of them for strikes. His final line, 3 2/3, 5 hits, 4 runs against the Phillies. It was the first time since April 27th he had allowed more than 2 runs earned in that fashion. He did face the Marlins back on March 29th, 6 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs, 4 punch-outs, and no walks. He'll throw a four-seamer, a sinker, a slider, a curveball, and a split, and that's what Bailey Falter features. And the Marlins will enter 2 righties back in the lineup tonight. Alberto Hernandez and Connor Norby are back for Clayton McCullough's bat and the Marlins. Cal Quantrill, Bailey Falter. That's your matchup on the mound at 12:35. We'll break. We'll get more with Scott Kornberg and Jack McMullen. Again, 12:35 first pitch. We're back in 2 minutes on the Marlins Radio Network.
Jacksonville. Yeah. 3-2 on Sanchez, the pitch. High fly ball, pretty deep right field. Caballero turning around, looking up, it's gone! Jesus Sanchez crushes a 3-run home run. And after a 4-run Rays second, the Marlins have come charging back with 4 here in the third. It's 4-all on Sanchez's bomb, 425 feet off the awning over the stands and right.
2-2 pitch on the way to X. And that one a ground ball right side. That's through for a base hit. Norby comes in to score. Fortes going first to third, and Caballero picks it up. He pretty much walks it back into the infield. It's an RBI single for X, and the Marlins within 1 in the 5th. It's 6-5 Rays, and that gets Kevin Cash out of the Rays dugout. 1-2. That one wandered into shallow left field. The left fielder coming on. Morel dove, and it got behind him. It just dribbled, and it died in the outfield grass in left field. But Hicks pulls into second base. He's got a 2-run double. Sanchez scores from third. Lopez scores from second. And the Marlins are pouring it on here. It's 9-6 in the top of the 5th. It's on the way. And Myers lines one into left center field. That's in for a base hit. That'll plate another run. That takes Mangum to his forehand, but his weight working back. Myers with a head-first dive into second base. He beats the relay throw, and it's an RBI double. The Marlins have hit around, and they have plated a bunch this inning. 6 across in the frame, and it's 10.
Thrilled, and I'm safe. Call Loctite Impact now at 954-500-LOCK. That's 954-500-LOCK, or visit LoctiteImpact.com.
About 10 minutes away from first pitch, 12:35 on the Marlins Radio Network. We're live from PNC Park. Steven Strom, Jack McMullen, and Scott Kornberg. Listen to your Marlins wherever you go. Download the iHeartRadio app. Make Fox Sports 940 your top preset to listen to every Marlins game this season. Jack, are you still on a Sandy Sugar high from last night?
Yes, I am. I loved that. That was awesome. That was like putting 10 Snicker bars to the face, like in one sitting. That was amazing, man. It was so much fun.
We gave high fives up here.
Dude, as soon as he got that fly out to end the 6th inning, I gave you a high five. Scott was signing off in the inning, and as soon as he said the Marlins Radio Network, I gave him a high five too, which was just amazing. But that is so good, and you got to feel so good for Sandy Alcantara. And if you were with us 10 minutes ago, you heard Sandy talking. Sandy's got that swagger back, and that's really cool to hear.
Give me the spark notes on Bailey Falter tonight. We heard from Greg Brown, but what can we expect with him?
Yeah, so extension's the name of the game with Bailey Falter, but the other name of the game is fastball. And I know Jeff Nelson, sitting in the next booth over doing TV right now with Kyle, is a proponent of saying that a four-seamer and a sinker, they're both a fastball. And they have different characteristics, but they both fit under the fastball window. So if you look at that, you're prepping for one window with Bailey Falter. His breaking pitches are not very good. You're going to get 65% fastball, whether it's the four-seamer or the sinker. But the thing that makes Falter good, and the thing that has given him a 3.5 ERA, is that the four-seamer rides to the top and the sinker drifts to the bottom. So it looks the exact same 40 feet of the way of the 60 feet 6 inches, and then they just veer off course at the last moment. If you're with us on StreamYard, I'm kind of doing the mimic of the sinker going down and the fastball going up. So you are playing a guessing game when you read fastball. You will be right more often than not if you're guessing fastball, but it's a matter of differing between the two, four-seamer and sinker?
Well, one guy that hits fastballs is Augustine Ramirez, but not as of late, Scott Kornberg. Last 14 days, 213, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. He'll DH and bat second. But Clayton McCullough did discuss with the media about what's going on with Augustine.
Yeah, I think they want him to attack. And this is normal for a rookie. You get off to a great start, talented guy like Augustine, and then the league adjusts, and then you have to adjust. So we're in that phase now. The thing with Augustine, a lot of ground balls. His ground ball rate was 43% his first couple months in the major leagues. It has spiked to 60% here in the last month or so. And in the last 18 games, his OPS is just a little bit above 500. So just about him making that next adjustment. But as you said, he creams fastballs. It's a good opportunity for him today.
Well, we will see Augustine in the lineup and a plethora of right-handed bats. Of course, Wags is back in there after a big day. Dane Myers as well. But Hernandez, Bert, as we call him, Alberto Hernandez is back in the lineup, and Connor Norby as well. Good job, guys. You'll hear Scott and Jack at 12:35. I got a break here. The 35s throw me off. 40s, fine. 35s, let's break here, Carlos. Expo question, Steve's guarantee. It's all next on the Marlins Radio Network.
Found out Dane's dating this girl named Mallory. Here's 2-2. Fly ball pretty deep to left, down the line, towards the corner. It's gone! Nick Fortes cracks a scoreless game open with a long home run down the left field line. And the Marlins grab a 2-0 lead here in the third.
It looked like a worse miss than it actually was.
The 1-1. Line shot center field. That's a base hit. Lopez getting the wave around third. Here's Cruz's throw all the way in. It's offline. It gets by Davis to the third base dugout, and Wagaman takes second. So it's an RBI single for Wagaman, and he bumps up into scoring position, and Miami has a 3-0 lead here in the fourth.
Dane, I saw you were the first one in your handshake line screaming, good win. What made tonight a good win?
Yeah, been skidding a little bit. Like I've been saying since the beginning of the year, we're the fighting fish. That's a really good win. Close ball games is what we're going to have to win to be good this year, and I'm glad to see us do that.
How did Sandy set the tone for your team tonight?
Yeah, he set it from pitch one, attacking their hitters. Decent lineup over there. So for him to just attack them and trust us behind them is huge.
Over the weekend, Nick Fortes obviously had a rough Saturday. We know how bad he felt about the Weathers incident. For him to hit a home run tonight, how good did that feel as a teammate and also just a human being?
Yeah, it's huge. Like you said, 40 is kind of the glue of the team. Everybody felt bad for him, but I don't think anybody felt worse than him. So to see him come up clutch, first AB like that is pretty special.
How did you see your offense be opportunistic tonight against Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I think we just took advantage whenever they made a mistake.
Miss your chance to win while also giving back. Visit marlins.com/raffle for more information.
Well, here we go. It is a beautiful afternoon here at PNC Park, about 74 degrees. Just a gorgeous afternoon for some baseball. I didn't see that boat going across the river, so it must be a really good day. Steven Strom, Jack McMullen, and Scott Kornberg. Bailey Falter will go opposite Cal Quantrill here today. Marlins looking to win this series. First one on this three-leg road trip before we head off to D.C. Let's get to our X-Poll question of the day at Marlins Radio. Well, Sandy Alcantara yesterday earned his 44th career W. He is now tied with who for 6th on the all-time Marlins win list. Make sure to vote at Marlins Radio. Carlos, let's do it. It's time for Steve's Guarantees.
Batter up. Batter up.
Let's play some ball.
First pitch is moments away. Time now for Steve's Guarantees.
Well, are you guys jumping on here? You guys were very confident about your Steve's Guarantees. Let's do it real quick, fellas. Scott, what do you got for me?
Multi-hit game for Javier Sanoja.
Jack.
Extra base hit for Dane Myers. Love the bat path against Falter.
I like Wags to have an infield single, and I also like Augustine Ramirez to have an extra base hit. Folks, I hope you got the itch for first pitch, because when we come back, Jack McMullen paints a picture. Scott Kornberg, he's ready to rock. Starting lineups in first pitch is right around the corner. Thanks for tuning in to the Marlins On Deck pregame show. I'm Steven Strom. Let's flip the M together, Miami Marlins baseball. It's next on the Marlins Radio Network.